Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we have a book influencer with us, which is so fun, a content creator, Kayla Kleinman, and her fiance, Jeremy Rodriguez. And Kayla Kleinman is a New York City-based content creator with a focus on life in your 30s, books, and cozy vibes. And Jeremy is a New York City public teacher. Some fun facts about them. I love these that you guys added these. They grew up in the same town, but were in different grades, so only knew of each other. And they both went to the same day camp growing up, and that's where they met working there in college. They realized when they started dating that they were both at the same ska concert in January 2009. Kayla has known his best friend much longer than she's known him. And then he's known him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then they both have a background in performance. So Kayla as an actor and Jeremy as a musician. So welcome to the show, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Okay. I love that you just went with it with your bio and put all these fun facts in there because I feel like I already have so many questions for you guys about this. It's so fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
we get that.
Yeah. So you guys are really into music and the arts. Maybe tell me a little bit more about your backgrounds there, being an actor and a musician.
Yeah, it's almost surprising that we didn't run into each other in high school over that. If anything,
Right.
because I feel like that's where, if you're into the arts, that's, a little niche that, people meet each other. But I would say your art side of it was more, if you would like to explain.
Yeah, I was definitely more musical theater, singing, acting, dancing, the works for that. When we met, I was in my senior year of college, majoring in theater, and definitely identified as a performer and just always that vibe. Whereas you're the music side of things. I guess I was music as well, vocalist.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like, in school we ironically had so many of the same teachers and, we grew up so much of the same experience, but just slightly adjacent. So she would be in the musicals, I don't think I ever was in a pit, performing in a pit for one of the musicals that you were in.
That would be wild.
You saw some of the ones.
But I absolutely saw the ones that she was
No
in.
way.
So
That's
we
so
just
cool.
were in the different side of the arts performance, a little bit. I never would have the courage to sing. That's something that,
We should say you're a guitarist.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say you still perform, but just not sing. You play guitar in a band
for fun. Yeah.
That's so good. I love that. That's really cool. My husband's in the music industry too here in Nashville. So yeah, can definitely relate. That's so fun. Oh my gosh. So you guys had all these opportunities growing up, almost crossing paths. Did you grow up in New York or was it somewhere else?
So we grew up about an hour north of New York City in a small town in northern Westchester. Somers for all two people that will know of it.
Yeah, shout out.
We grew up in the same town, went to the same schools all the way through. And I was 2 grades older than you. So we knew a lot of the same people and knew each other by name because it's a pretty small school, but had never spoken to each other or anything like that.
Wow. Wow, that's wild. So it was same school, 2 years apart, just really missing each other. And then, okay, and you guys were both into music and you went to a ska concert and you found this out later. What band were you seeing? Give me all the details. Ska music's so fun to me.
Yeah, so it had to have been Real Big Fish. If we're going to be talking,
that's so fun.
That's going to be the band that we're talking about.
That's so good.
We probably realized that pretty early on.
No, I
in
think
our relationship.
we did realize that
because it was so funny because I feel like we saw a lot of the same people at that concert from our high school, but we didn't know each other well enough to register if we would have seen each other.
Wow.
It was my freshman year of college, so I was there with all of my college friends. You're probably there with high school people that I know as well. So I feel like when we started dating a couple of years later, we had that realization that we were both at that same concert, and we were like, oh yeah, so and so was there, so and so was there, and just I
ran into this person,
ran into all the same people at that concert.
No way. That's so wild. And then you guys finally met at a camp.
Yeah.
And you guys were the camp counselors, right?
Yes. You were counselor for what would have been like 5th grade boys that year, and then I was the dance counselor.
Been there a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a fun job. That's a fun summer job, dance counselor.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's such a good time. Oh my gosh. So is that when it all started? Like these guys started talking at summer camp and then
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, okay, this could be something. And it went on from there.
I mean, I feel like there probably wouldn't have been an avenue for us to like I wouldn't even say reconnect. It would be like connecting for the first time. Like even though there wasn't something before that or something after that that would have potentially done it. Like so, camp absolutely was like the vibe of just like, hey, we had the attitude of like, we like having fun at camp, and we're going to just like take that, and we were young enough to like go out after camp and like have a fun time.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
There was like a whole group of us that got really close that summer. I mean, the joke was the previous summer I'd been working there. I like only was friends with a bunch of the girls and had gotten really close to the group. And then one of them was like, let's become friends with boys this summer was like the big joke.
Oh.
And one of them was dating your best friend at the time, or at the time they were dating, still your best friend. And so he brought you into the mix. And it was just like one of those like summers of being in college of just like hanging out constantly, this like big group of friends. I was just so down to do anything. And as the summer went on, we just like got closer and closer towards the end.
Yeah, like you almost like, because it really like this was a group of like, I want to say that at its biggest, like we were like making reservations at our local Chili's for like 27 people.
Oh,
like,
that's so fun.
But then it did like almost have this feeling of just like, you had your smaller knit groups within that. And like there was like the core kind of just like 4 of us, that just
spent a lot of time.
Yeah, wouldn't really miss out on anything.
Yeah.
And we were in that smaller group, and eventually like we had those moments where we're just like, oh, we both showed up at the movie theater a little early because we're both early people, like, and we just had those moments to ourselves to get to know each other a little bit better than that massive crew of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because, yeah, to build your relationship, I'm sure you need some alone time to really like dive deeper and get to know each other. But I love how it started in a group because it seems like you guys are so like friends focused. And even now, I feel like you guys just talking on, your social media and everything about how your friends are so involved in your lives, which is really cool. And I love that. So it's important to have close friends, I think.
Yeah.
And it's hard, like, in your 30s to make friends too. And so for you guys to like already have a tight knit group like built in is a really great thing. So that's so good. Yes. Okay. So you guys met at camp. You guys started hanging out. Like, how long ago was that?
What, like just a couple months ago, right?
Yeah. I mean,
14 years ago, I believe.
Summer of 2011.
Okay. So that was 14 years
14
ago.
years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
so you guys.
Yes. Okay. I was like,
so you guys have been like actually dating for that long.
The smallest of breaks that like doesn't count because we were so bad at being not together that we might as well have still been together.
I love that so much. That's so good. Okay, and then when did it start getting pretty serious? Like, and you're like, okay, this is like leading into an engagement here.
Probably like pretty early on. Like, I mean,
Wow.
I don't know. I guess early on in a 14-year long relationship, how do you define early on, right?
Right.
But like, I remember like, 4 years in, I'm still pretty young, right? So like I wasn't ready to propose. I'm like, I'm still getting a master's degree right now. Like I need to like get a real person job, So we definitely hit that like wow, like we're serious and we care about each other like before our lives are set, kind of feeling. So like it was serious and we were able to just like kind of just hold on to that for a long time without ever being like, oh, well, I guess we can't be serious until we have our lives figured out. Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever like a specific moment I could pinpoint, but more we had been together for so long. We know each other so well, have such an understanding of each other and how to be there for each other. So I think it was just like, as time went on, there was never like a moment of like, wait a minute, where do you think this is going? Because it was just so obvious. And then after the short break, once we got back together, at that point, we knew we were moving in together and like really ready to move forward.
Might as well have been the proposal.
And the moving in together was definitely the like, as long as there's no like major hiccup in the next couple of months, like you moved in, when was that? In September. So now like, I guess 8 months or so ago. So, but then at that point, did I know that right?
Yeah, I think maybe 9.
And at that point it was we were both like very on the same page of you moving in was essentially, we will get engaged unless there is some like major mishap that I was
you
not
really
expecting.
talk too much about the unless.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't want you to propose right away.
No,
I was we should
no,
probably live together
we
for
should live together for a little bit, like for sure.
Mhm.
Like, you know, but there was no like aha, like, you know, there's not like that moment in, you know, a movie or something where it was like, and that's when I knew I was going to spend the rest of my like, so like, unfortunately there's none of that. Like, if anything, it's just like the small things when you're just like, oh, okay, like we're hanging out doing nothing. And I'm just like, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue doing this more.
Right. Yeah. And it's like the stepping stones, just like keep growing a relationship deeper. I totally get that. Yeah. I love that. And you had 14 years to like have all those little stepping stones. And even though you may have stepped back 1 or 2 stones, it's like you kept progressing forwards, which leads to your engagement. Oh my gosh. I saw all of your amazing proposal videos on Instagram and they're so fun. Jeremy, you put together this whole like day for Kayla to go through. Like, okay, take us into like the planning process of this.
So it's funny because I remember I want to say it was somebody on your one of your family members asked like, oh, like jokingly said like, you know, you should plan proposals. And you know, it was a funny compliment, you know, haha, nobody's actually thinking that I should do that. But like I was also like I was thinking to myself like I couldn't do that for any other person. Like it is so specifically to us, like, you know, for those who are listening, like we you know, I designed a bookstore scavenger hunt and scattered a bunch of her friends along the way as like breadcrumb clues. And it just for us, like, you know, I don't think I could do that for anyone else. Like, you know, you have to know somebody very well to know how they would want to be proposed to. Mm-hmm. Like you know, you really just like Kayla is kind of like what is the word I'm looking for? Like likes attention, but likes a very specific type of attention. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
I know. I'm trying to think of the word.
Know, it wasn't going to ever be this incredibly public.
I also don't like big surprises.
Surprises. So, you know, the only direction that I gave her was you'll know it's happening.
Nice. That's good.
So I knew it wasn't going to just be like out of nowhere.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a, you know, you turned around and there wasn't going to be a surprise to it. Like there was going to be like a lead up to it, a build up to it, and the bookstore scavenger hunt. That's not something we do on an average Saturday.
Right.
So I like she knew immediately. That was the point. Like I wanted her to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Kayla, you even had a little inkling before the first clue came about. So tell us a little bit more of those little hints that in the video that you created that you were like, I think I'm getting proposed to today.
Yes. So I wanted to record that I thought it was happening to prove that I knew it was happening.
I love that you did that so much.
I'm very glad that I have that I did. So there was just a few things that everyone was being weird. One, you were supposed to have band practice in Westchester, and you were like, usually you would leave on Friday night, go stay at your parents' house, and then go to practice on Saturday. You were like, oh, I'm just gonna like sleep in tomorrow. And then the next morning you were also really casual about it, and you were like, I'm like not in a rush to get there, which usually you would be.
If I had practice that day, I wouldn't have been in a rush to get there that day.
That was one thing. That wasn't even, my friend was the big kicker. So my best friend, Will, I had a hunch he would be in on it, that I knew you two were in contact and Will would be a good person to pull into this. So Will like casually mentioned the weekend before, like, what are you up to next weekend? Let's get brunch. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like we usually don't plan that far in advance for things. And then as the weekend on, he was like, oh, do you want to get brunch today. And it turns out I already had plans with some people. So he was like, well, what are you up to? What are you up to after? And was just very adamant about hanging out. So I thought that was suspicious. I noticed Will and I share locations, and I noticed Will's location was off, and I thought that was weird as well. So I was kind of like, that's weird that it's not showing me where he is, and that means he's somewhere. I just gone on vacation on my own, so I figured you would have had time to either get the ring if you didn't already have it, or like plan some stuff with people. Also, our mutual friend, the one who said we should hang out with boys, she said, let's get our nails done Friday night.
I did not ask her to do that.
No, but she did know we were getting
Oh.
engaged that day.
That's good. That's
So
a good friend.
she was really sly about it, actually. She like suggested like there's this place she wanted to try out, and she knew I wanted to try. So we went to get our nails done Friday night, and she blatantly asked me while I was there what I was up to the next day. And I said, I thought you were proposing. And she said, if so, I don't know anything about it. She was very good at it. Everyone was just lying to my face all weekend.
We were
That's
really
so
good
good.
at lying. It's actually concerning.
When I was walking
Right.
back from brunch, I'd gone with like my workout friends, and I didn't realize one of them was in on it. And I said to her, but like while we were walking home from working out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sound crazy, but I think it's happening today. And she was like, no, like why do you think that? And like trying, and then later on she was like, oh, I knew.
Oh,
You
that's
got me
so
in on it.
good. Everyone threw you off.
To my face that day, which was very
Yeah.
cool. It was
But
okay.
you could pick up on the subtle hints of people not actually telling you, but like the situations that were happening. You were like, yeah.
I knew it was happening soon.
On our side,
Yeah.
you know, of the planning process, we were like, hey, we need eyes on Kayla, and she needs to legitimately be free. Because so like I sent Will into desperation mode of like, man, I don't care if it's obvious, we just can't have her actually make plans because we've got people flying in for this.
Yeah, totally. I
Like,
know, man.
we need to have this happen today, so she has to be free. So be pushy, be obvious. Like at worst, we have a laugh about it later, which we did.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, totally. I know. And like all of the pieces of the puzzle that you had to put together, Jeremy, was like, how long did it take you to really work on this? Because you had friends flying in, family coming in, like a friend or a family member at each station of the scavenger hunt. And you had like specific books that you had clues in that were meaningful to you guys. Like, it was so much that all led to this moment. Like, what was the timeline and planning like for you?
I said, I think we joked about this the other day where like ChatGPT could never, like, you know, just like
That's
it's just
so
too,
good.
it's just,
Yes.
like, it's too specific. It's like it's
Mhm.
you know, like I think, you know, the idea came literally like we weren't even living together, and I had this, you know, this DVD that I'd taken from her, kind of as a like hey, you know, this was when we were like fake broken up, and you know, we get to like, you know, I said like I'm gonna take something from you, so we'll have to see each other again. And I took something that, you know, I perceived to be the most useless thing that I could possibly take, but it could be just like a funny running joke, which is I took her Sex in the City 2 DVD.
That's amazing. I love
And
that
I wanted to
so
see if
much.
she would notice, which it definitely took a while before I was like, what are you missing? But I held on to that for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like years. Like years, to the point that she probably forgot that I even had it.
Mhm.
And I had this moment of thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool to give that back as like a gesture of like knowing that I don't need to question the next time I'm going to see you? And like, what if there was a fun way to give that back? But what if we like let like what like then it just like built on itself. We're just like, how do I get from like point A to point B? How does this become a proposal? And like it dawned on me with the book Scavenger Hunt, like you know, what if I sent her around the city for books? And there were like, you know, just cutting the story short, because there are so many iterations of this. Like there are so many Google documents, Excel sheets, and
love
B,
that.
C, D, all the way through Z, rainy day plans.
Wow.
You know, just rewriting it in so many different ways, different clues for different books, for different, you know, if certain people couldn't make it,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like. So yeah, I
Man.
mean, I didn't fully phone in the friends for flying in until I had the ring. Like, you know, her best friend who flew in, I was like, I'm not going to reach out until I have a ring in hand to say, hey, fly out because, like, I can do this, because that would be embarrassing. Having David fly in and be like, awkward, I don't have a ring to propose with.
Actually, didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know when you roped him in.
Yeah, no, we were talking, but
Okay.
I was like, don't book a flight
until
until I have the ring.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh
So I
my
mean, this
gosh.
was a year into
Yeah.
prepping and constantly changing.
Yeah. I think it was really smart that you had one friend with her the whole time just to make, and like that he knew like the clues and where they
He's also
were
a
and
good
stuff.
person to do it.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
good person to shove me around and just like keep
Yeah.
me going.
That's so good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, just to like keep it on course, and so she's not just like, off on her own and then everyone's like, "Where'd she go?" Like so yeah, good on you for that.
yeah, I mean, I think that was actually, I think it was his idea, because my original plan was that every single person would have a printed out list of like the clue that came before them and the clue that goes next,
Oh,
so
that's
that they could
good.
kind of be the guides. But I was like, this is changing so much that I'm like, I'm not even sure that I'm going to have these exact people here on the exact days. And I'm like, I can't count on that. I'm like, I'd rather Will just like
Yeah.
shuffle you along from station to station, and like he can just steer you in the right way if you know, go to the wrong
Of course.
book section.
Right. That's so good. So then the proposal happens in the middle of the bookstore. What a dream. How perfect for you, Kayla.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure that's like what you've always dreamed of, and it happened. What was that moment like?
It was very surreal. And I only had two requests of the proposal. And I said I did want it to be videotaped in some format and I wanted photos during it. And I'm really glad that we ended up having people video it just on their phones, because I feel like I just totally blacked out in that moment. And afterwards, I even had a moment of like, please tell me I said yes. Like, what did I
Right.
say? Was my reaction? At that point, I feel like I couldn't stop laughing because it was just such a fun day. And I was just still so in disbelief of the people that were there. So many people that I don't get to see very often. While I wasn't surprised that the proposal was happening exactly where it was happening, that to me, I think I called it in the video where I was like, I think I'm getting proposed to today. At the end, I'm like, I think it has something to do with bookstores.
Yes, you totally called it. I love it.
That I feel like was not surprising, but everything leading up to it, and it just felt very us. That for you as well, the Strand is which is the bookstore where we got engaged, is just like such a staple in our relationship and in our lives. So it just felt very fitting of like, oh, this is a place that means so much to both of us, and the experience to get there as well. So like I was just like giddy, and I feel like I was like too like giddy to cry even, because I was just so overwhelmed.
That was kind of the point. Like, you know, you said like you don't like surprises, and I also, you know, I didn't want you to be nervous.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want, like, you know, the anxiety. So like I'm like, what way to do that? I'm like, surround you by your friends to have you like hyping you up kind of along the way as kind of your cheerleaders to get, you know, to the final destination. So yeah, I was cool with you blacking out. I'm like, as long as you say yes, like, you know, and you did your part, so we're good.
I love it. That's so good. All right, so you guys are engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys started planning? Like, what's the process been like for you? Like, Kayla, I know you put a video out there of things that you're not going to do, which I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, go girl, like do your thing. So maybe dive in a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I put on there. I feel like it's all stuff that you're very aware of.
Oh yeah. No,
I mean, number one, I'm not changing my last name. Neither of our
Wouldn't want
moms did. I feel like my name is my sing-songy brand. I just was never going to change my last name. So that I don't really want to have a bridal shower. I feel like in my experience, I've never had fun at a bridal shower, which I feel bad saying. Like, I love the people whose showers I've been to, but I feel like no one's ever like, man, I'm so hyped to go to a bridal shower today. So I would
Right.
much rather save that energy for a part of the wedding weekend. I feel like we already got the engagement party aspect of it, that after he proposed, we came back to our apartment and all of our friends were there. His friends came as well. Our family was all there. So I feel like I don't need anything more than that. Like I already got to celebrate with loved ones, and asking any of them to do more than that just feels, I don't know, just doesn't feel right. I'd rather put that energy into the wedding weekend. I forget what else is in that video. I know I want a band,
Mhm.
not a DJ, but I don't think that's that much of a hot take.
Yeah, that's
We're gonna
good.
mix. I like as I've mentioned throughout this, two of my best friends are guys, so they're very much going to be part of the bridal party, considering they were very much part of the proposal. So definitely mixed gendered wedding parties.
That's so
But
fun.
yeah, we looked at our first venue maybe 3 weeks ago,
Really, that long ago? Wow.
maybe 2 weeks ago. So we looked at our first venue here in New York. What we do know is summer 2026 is the goal. You're a teacher, so it makes sense for your schedule. I'm a
Yeah.
summer girly, so like I've just always envisioned getting married in summer and being
Yeah.
tan and more relaxed. We know
Mhm.
we want to be in the New York area since we live in New York City and our family is back in our hometown, so about an hour away. So we know probably somewhere between the city and where we grew up. Not 100% sure on where that is yet. We know we are inviting a lot of people because I have a very big family. You have a lot of good friends that you want involved, and just a lot of people around us, which I think will be a lot of fun. So yeah, we looked at our first venue. We're looking at our second one this weekend. Yeah, we're just kind of like narrowing it down and figuring out where makes the most sense, who can accommodate my large boisterous family. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's been fun so far though, because we haven't really had to do that
I
much.
mean, I was gonna
Oh,
say, like,
good.
so far, so good. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you guys are just like taking it at your own pace. And about how many people are you thinking of having? I know you said you have a lot of friends and family, so you're looking for a pretty large space, right?
250 is going to be our max. I feel like that's
Okay.
actually not. I feel like some people, I know, I've been to weddings that are bigger
I was
than
gonna
that.
say,
250.
Right.
now that I like, it's funny. I've been to a lot of weddings, but I never actually like thought about how many people were there.
Mhm.
Like, I never thought like, oh, this is 150.
Yeah.
You know, I never like thought about that, and now I'm like, oh, like my friends, like I'll ask them like, how big was your wedding, if you don't mind me asking. Like, I just
Yeah, that's
didn't have
It's
a
so
good.
hard to
concept.
tell.
Didn't have a
Yeah,
concept.
like
I feel like
gauging
at
how many
weddings, you
people
never
are in
know.
a room. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and I'm like, oh, like is what we're asking for ridiculous? Like, you know,
It's probably on par with at least family weddings we've been to.
yeah, it'll be fun.
I will be a
Yeah.
lot of people up and dancing, which is exactly what I want. I want it to be fun.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. That'll be so fun. And I feel like that just goes with your relationship, just with all the friends and family that you've always had so involved, like in your lives up to this point. It's like you want to enjoy your very special day, like with all of them too, which is
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah, I
I think it
love
was
that.
never a question. Like intimate wedding was
Yeah,
never even on the cards, or like
No.
eloping. Like that's
right.
not us. I feel like we've always wanted. I don't know. We've kind of joked about. We talked about weddings very casually for a long time now. Like we were at a friend's wedding in the fall before we were engaged,
Like
and
the phrase, like when we get married.
yeah, we're like, oh, when we get married, like let's remember this. And he was like, wait, are you guys engaged? And I didn't realize it. And we're like, oh no, we just talk about this very
Oh,
Yeah,
I
just
openly.
love
like
that. Yeah,
And like
that's so good.
we've gone to a lot of weddings together, because when we first got together, when we were in our early 20s, essentially, all of my cousins were getting married. So we just went to so many cousin weddings, just one after another, and you were always invited. So I feel like we just had a lot of time to like point out things and be like, ooh, I like that. I don't like that. And I feel like we were talking about our wedding very openly for a long time.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
normal.
Yeah,
Maybe.
totally. I
Why
know.
not?
Like when you've been dating so long too, and you know that like marriage is in your future,
Yeah.
I think it's fun to just like talk about those things as they're leading up and kind of get ideas, flowing, even though the proposal hasn't happened yet. But like just also knowing that you're on the same page for like what your
Yeah, yeah.
future is too. So it was really cool. Yeah, definitely. That's so good. So are books going to be like involved in your theme for your wedding, or like have you decided kind of like what style or vision that you're kind of going for?
I feel like it's interesting. I consider New York so important to me and such a big part of my life. So I thought I would really want like a Manhattan, like elegant, really fancy wedding. And the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, I don't know if that's actually like, I very much think of myself as New York, but I don't think that's my actual vibe. So now going for possibly more garden, outside, more big open space wedding. For book stuff, some stuff I've seen is like people do like a book bar I've heard of, and
Oh,
like
that's
the
so
couple will pick
fun.
out some favorite books and people can pick a book. We've joked about for the what's it called, the table cart where like the names are for what table you're at, doing bookmarks maybe. We've thrown around a
Library
couple
cards.
library cards as
Yeah.
well. As cute, and my
Oh,
mom's a
that's
librarian, so
cute.
that feels
Yeah.
very fitting. So I feel like we've thrown around ideas. I feel like once we know the venue and all of that stuff, we'll be able
Yeah,
to
we can
lock it
adjust
in
around that.
more.
Right.
But I definitely, there's going to be some
Yeah, there's
book
gonna be
element to it. I think because that's just something that we so share and is a no-brainer.
Yeah, like it's not gonna be like I get married in a book like tuxedo,
Right.
like you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
they'll,
Keep
they'll
it classy here.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, more
they'll be
casual.
like, yeah, there'll be
Yeah.
some casual nods here and there.
Yeah, for sure. That's so cool. I love that idea though of almost having like a little free library, like,
Yeah, I've seen it
at
in
your
a couple
wedding
people's.
or
It's very cute when
book
people do it.
bar.
Yeah.
Love that idea. That's really fun. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so something that I ask everybody who comes on the podcast is, do you have any advice for other couples who are engaged right now?
I mean, I think that I think it helps that our personalities match in so many ways. So there's no we both expect we both know each other's intentions or on the same page about so many things, and you have to just keep the course. Is the truth of it is like you're getting engaged for a reason. I imagine that you're compatible, so keep up with the compatibility when it comes to this part too. Um, we are not like necessarily like hounding each other. We're not necessarily asking each other to, front all of one idea or the other. But, we're both visiting the venues ourselves. I think that the decision making process is, one person might care more than the other. Then that's just what it is. Like you just go with the flow of all of it. It's, so much of it is just being kind of just chill. I hate to say like just like I know it's a big day. I know it's important. I do not want to belittle that at all.
Yeah.
But you know, like I think we've already joked like, hey, like we don't know if the first venue we saw was the venue we're gonna get married at.
Mm-hmm.
But if that ended up happening, we'd end up having a great time. And I think just
Yeah.
like kind of realizing that like hey, no matter where we get married, we're going to be surrounded by our loved ones. It's going to be awesome. We know we're going to have music. We know people are going to be up and dancing. Like, I think we just had that so set that we can almost just like relax a little bit after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I totally agree on that, piggybacking that. I think something that's really, I'm someone who's not very good at decisions and gets like overwhelmed thinking about stuff like this when it feels like, oh my God, there's a million choices of venues and vibes, and thinking that, oh my God, I need to find the perfect one. And I think for me, it's been so helpful to realize there's not a perfect venue. Any of these venues that we're looking at are going to be beautiful and amazing. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a great wedding because it's our wedding, our people, and like that's the fun of it. So no matter where we are, like we'll make it work if XYZ is not maybe the way we envisioned. For me, another thing is like I feel like we have our set like non-negotiables, things that are really important to us and like at the top of the list. And then everything else is going in with an open mind of like, you know what? Like maybe didn't picture this, but like let's check it out. Worst thing is it's a no, but like going in with an open mind and not feeling like there is, and I think, yeah, just not thinking that there is that perfect venue, because I'm sure anywhere is going to have its pros and cons, but just kind of knowing where are you okay compromising, which are your non-negotiables, and like feeling confident in that.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really smart. You're right. There's not just going to be this magical venue that has every single box checked off of your list of exactly what you're looking for.
Or
Like
maybe
there
we will.
are,
We'll find out.
who knows, there could be. Depends on what exactly you're looking for, how many boxes you actually have,
Yeah,
right?
that too.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think if you're able to, yeah, sort of just be like, we can have a beautiful wedding wherever we get married. And the whole point of this is that you guys are getting married. Like, it's your day to really say those vows in front of your friends and family. And, like, really, at the end of the day, like, your venue can go to the wayside in a way because, like, the point is your union together. So, yeah, definitely. Obviously, you want to have a beautiful setting and you want it to be what you envision because it's like your big day that, you've been building up towards for this day. So, yeah, for sure. I love it. That's so good. So, what are maybe a couple of those like non-negotiables for you, or like your top three things maybe that you're thinking of that you're like, okay, it needs to be this?
I think number one is that space thing of,
Right.
because it's not going to be like the tiniest of weddings, making sure that we're not like really pushing it for our capacity or feeling like we need to cut off for that. So
Mm-hmm.
the first venue we looked at, which was absolutely stunning, but the dance floor was so teeny tiny.
So
Oh,
And
bummer.
it was beautiful.
it was beautiful,
Yeah.
but it was so teeny tiny. I think that also pointed out one of the other non-negotiables, which is convenience of getting people to the venue. Being in the New York area, there are so many different variables and things, and whether we get married in New York City versus outside the city, of making sure wherever it is that it is doable for both the people coming from the city, the people coming from the suburbs, and then also the people coming from out of town as well. So trying to make it just like not the most inconvenient situation.
Yeah, as accessible as possible, as few barriers in place as possible. Like it's easy to get to, so like people can get there.
Yeah, that's not the stress of it.
It's not
Right.
stressful to get to, and it doesn't feel like you have to like, oh, it's stressful to leave, so we might have to leave a little earlier than we'd like. Just
Mm-hmm.
easy to get to and from. Like realized hopped up like a couple of rungs in our priority ladder, I think.
Yeah.
I think my other big thing, and I'm curious if there's like another thing that you're thinking, is the rain plan. I feel like
Yeah,
I've just been to so many
totally.
weddings that the rain plan it feels like a scramble and definitely not what the couple wanted. So I feel like for me, I want to make sure I just like the rain plan enough, because I don't want it to be like, well, it's all reliant on it not raining. Like, yeah, of course you don't want it to rain, but you still want to be able to enjoy it if it
The
does rain.
engagement was reliant on it not raining, and
Yeah,
it
and
poured that
it was
day.
terrible
Really?
weather that day. Yeah,
We had a rainy day plan, so it was fine, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. You
made it
had
work.
your fifth spreadsheet out and you're like, this is the one.
Yes.
The plan we're going with. Yeah. No, I think that's all really smart. You're thinking more about the logistics and like the guest experience, which I think is really important. And yeah, some really good things to think about, even for those listening who are planning their weddings right now, to, yeah, just think about those things as you're going forwards. All right. So, as we wrap up, I know you have some fun things happening. You have like a summer reading guide out right now. Like, maybe tell us more about like what's next, maybe anything fun in your business that you have to release.
Yeah, so I just launched my big summer reading guide. Obviously, books are really important to us, and reading really important to us, and for sure for me. So I feel like summer reading is my like time to shine, because I love nothing more than reading outside. So did my big summer reading guide of new books coming out this summer. We'll also be putting out beach reads. I recently launched my YouTube channel, so really excited
Ooh,
to just
congrats.
thank you. So to dive into there more as well. So right now having a lot of fun on Instagram, my main platform, but then also branching out to Substack and YouTube, which
Cool.
it's been different. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, that's exciting. And Jeremy, you have the summer off since you're a teacher, right? What are you going to do with
Yeah.
your
Well, it's
Or are you
funny.
doing summer school or
No, I could never do summer school. I
Oh,
love teaching so
nice.
much, but like I love teaching because I get a break from it.
Yeah, that's great.
So I mean, I still like working with kids, and ironically, I still work at the same camp that
No
we met at.
way. I love
Yeah, I'm just
that.
at like,
That's so
at
good.
a director level there, so I, work there over the summers. I think I hopped off a meeting for them like a half hour before hopping
Nice.
onto this one. So, you know, still work during the summers. I like being busy. Like it's,
Yeah.
as much as I complain about not having free time, like, if I were to just be sitting home, I think I would go a little stir crazy. So,
Hmm.
it's bunch going on, not content related. I can't be like go to Jeremy
Hmm.
teaches You know, I'm just trying to get my kids to pass a history reading. So,
Right,
you know,
totally. Yeah.
there's nothing to sell here for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today. I'm so happy for you. I cannot wait to keep following along and see where this wedding is all happening, like all the vibe of the day, like having it all come together. And yeah, thank you guys so much for taking the time. This was really fun.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
fun.
course. All right, we'll chat later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
There you have it, another episode of the Wedding Reporter podcast. To see those gorgeous wedding and engagement photos, head over to NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more behind the scenes content. And if you like this episode, I would so appreciate it if you would rate and subscribe the show. See you next time for another great episode.